Welcome to Transmissions, where we talk all Hasbro, Takara, and third-party Transformers. On this episode, we catch up on Buzzworthy Bumblebee reveals we missed last week, crazy G2 color schemes are making a comeback, and Hasbro's got big plans for Transformers' 40th anniversary next year. Today is Wednesday, June 21st, 2023, and this is episode 543 of Transmissions.
Welcome to Transmissions, the podcast that wonders who the next dead Autobots will be featured in the Studio Series line. I'm your host Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hey, how's it going?
And Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
Hey, let's talk Transformers.
As always, we start the show by thanking our Donatreons, those lovely people who support us on Patreon and PayPal. We really appreciate you guys continuing to contribute and help us out. You're the reason we keep the show going, so thank you for all your support. Of course, if you become a Donatreon, you get lots of perks. You get to watch the show live as we record it before it goes out to everyone. You get entered into all our contests automatically. You get special bonus content on our Patreon page, and at the higher levels, you even get some physical perks, get some merch. So lots of good stuff if you become a Donatron. If you want to do that, you can go to transmissionspodcast.com/support. That's where you can sign up. Speaking of bonus content, we've got our bonus show, We Like Big Bots. We got 10 episodes up on our Patreon page. More coming soon. We got Dr. Pants back. Hopefully, we'll get him and Daryl back in the studio to do some more Big Bots shows. So stay tuned for that. I'm hoping and praying it's going to be a productive summer. We'll see.
Me too.
This week, we have our next new episode of Empire of Rust. So if you were listening last week, we have the bonus version of Empire of Rust episode 103 that comes out a week early. Now this week, we've got the regular version of episode 103. It's Smurf, but for time. So check out that episode. If you are listening to Empire of Rust, you can check it out. It's on the free feed, transmissionspodcast.com/rust. It's there right now, so you should be able to listen to it, download it. Episode 103. So the things keep going. I believe the team is moving towards a confrontation with Starscream, so that could be exciting. So look forward to that. And before we get into our toy talk, just want to remind you, we've got our partnership with Toy Hacks, and you can use our code REWIND at toyhacks.com to save 15% off your order for the month of June. So until the end of June, this code will be active. Use that code REWIND at toyhacks.com and get all 50% off your entire order. Cannot be used with any other promo codes, but it can be used with your RoboPoints if you have any of those built up at Toy Hacks. So thank you again to our friends at toyhacks.com, and enjoy that promotion. And remember, rewind. Okay, let's jump into the toy talk and starting off with some quick hits.
All right. And first off, we are going to talk about Buzzworthy Bumblebee. And they announced a bunch of stuff in that line this past week. So we've got a few things to talk about. And the first one is the Troop Builder Multi-Pack. And if you are someone out there who likes to build a bunch of armies, then this might be for you. So the Troop Builder Multi-Pack comes with 4 different bots that you can build, troop builders, and they are all reuses of different molds, and put some different heads and a couple different colors on them. The first one that I wanted to highlight is the Seeker. It's just a plain old Seeker. He's kind of blue, but not not exactly Thundercracker blue, but I wonder if they're kind of going for that those 3 Seekers at the start of the More Than Meets the Eye episode 1, that were a BotCon exclusive the one time, but now they're just kind of remaking them in Voyager class. Yeah. So anyway, that's one of them. The next one, trying to see here, they've got the Quintesson Trooper. This is a remake of that Alicon. So you can, if you missed out on that mold, you can definitely get it here. The next one is the G1 Universe Cybertronian Trooper.
G2 Universe.
The write-up on Hasbro Pulse says G1.
Well, that's wrong because it's G2. they're from the comics, the G2 comic series, the Cybertronians, who were the the evolution of the Decepticons. Those were the forces that G-Axis led in the G2 comic, and they were kind of like generic Decepticons.
Well, there you go. The first write-up of it says G1. The second write-up says G2. So you can see the top part of the paragraph there. You see it? Am I lying? There it is, G1.
Yes, I understand that the copy is you read what was written. What was written is wrong.
It's correct down below.
You are not Chat GPT. You have a brain. You can correct yourself and figure these things out.
I read the G2 comics once when they came out and have not gone back to them. So I should be forgiven for not remembering this. It was a long time ago. Anyway, the next one, Animated Universe Auto Trooper. And that is the remake or the repaint of the Ironhide Ratchet mold with a new head. So there's that. Next up, we've got another.
I just wanted to point out that I guess the three non-seeker figures all have alternate heads. Like they each have two heads, which is interesting.
Right.
I don't know why the seeker doesn't get an alternate head, but everyone else gets an alternate head.
I don't know.
It's easier to replace the head on the other three.
Yeah. Quick hits, everybody. Quick hits. Next up, we are doing, we've talked about this a little bit before. This is Studio Series Ironhide and Prowl. These are the dead versions. They look pretty alive. They're in the process of dying. That's what I'm going to go with. So they've all got battle damage.
Schrodinger's Autobots. They're neither alive nor dead.
Right. So they've all got a new head sculpt. This is the I've been shot, but it's the ow, I've been shot face. Both have got damage to their chests, and that appears to be the only spot on them that has any kind of battle damage. But they do come with new blast effects, and they are the Decepticon blast effects. So you can remake that scene on the ship. So yeah, you can get that. So that's a Buzzworthy Bumblebee 2-pack, and yeah, that should be showing up fairly soon. Next up, they are reissuing Studio Series Grimlock. This is from the fourth movie, I think. Yes, fourth movie. And this is something that sold out pretty fast. I don't remember the original number of it. I think it was like Studio Series number 8 or something like that. I can't remember. But either way, it's been long gone from the Studio Series line. And they are now reissuing that in the Buzzworthy Bumblebee line. Oh, maybe it's number 7, unless that's the Studio Series or the Bumblebee.
That's whatever line they're calling it now.
Yeah, so there you go. But yeah, that's very cool. I know some people were interested in being able to obtain that, the Age of Extinction Grimlock, and here it is. It's available once again. Although Hasbro Pulse is showing it as sold out.
Well, next we have the next Hasbro Pulse fan stream has been announced. It's going to be yesterday, June 20th. So we'll talk about it next week, as always. So it had BMAC and the team with new Rise of the Beast reveals, and it's also more Legacy Evolutions, and an interview with artist Rich Pellegrino, which from looking at his Instagram, it looks like he did a special limited edition print for Hasbro or something. So we'll talk about everything that they announced yesterday next week.
Or maybe all the leaks we talk about in this show are what they show off in the fan stream. So
yeah, who knows? They might talk about what Charles is going to talk about next.
Yeah, speaking of that, so we talked about Prowl last week after it was announced by Hasbro Pulse with Ironhide, which was we had no idea about that, but that's the danger of having a gap between recording and publishing. But yeah, so maybe they talked about the next of their Generation 1 re-releases in this Transformers the movie line. So we've had Hot Rod, Starscream, Hound. Now it looks like the next one is going to be Perceptor. So this is G1 Perceptor with some redecos and repackaging for Transformers the movie. I wonder if this artwork is also Marcelo Mater. Seems like that would be likely. Yeah.
And they also did Thundercracker.
Oh yeah, I forgot Thundercracker. That's right. I wonder if I can't tell from the other image here of the back of the box with the head. I can't tell if it's the original head or if it's a new head sculpt for this G1 figure. But I mean, that would be that. I would say it might be likely that they'd give it a more animation accurate head for this Transformers the movie release. But we'll see. Maybe we already know because we've seen it in the fan stream, but we'll see.
It is a working microscope. It's not a great one, but it is a working microscope.
It makes the small thing bigger.
It's like 10x. That's it, right? Not a lot of magnification. You get one order of magnitude.
Your cell phone is better. The next one up is the New Age Toys H52B Poison. It's the Legend Scale Shattered Glass Ratchet. So we are it's New Age doing New Age things, and they are repainting all of their figures. So this is the H51. They did so they did H51B Poison. That was a Legend Scale Ratchet, but this is. They've updated it to being the H52, so they've changed the numbering. So originally they released H52ER, which was their original Ratchet, and so they've repainted it in shattered glass colors like they do, and it is going to be 9.8 centimeters tall, which I have to do it. It is just under 4 inches, and if you like shattered glass and you like Legend Scale, this is a pretty good one to get.
I think it's just H52, Daryl. I think they have another typo in the story here because the title says H52B and then it says it's a recolor of H52ER, but then in the story it also says H51B. So I'm guessing the 52 is the right number.
I don't know. H52B that's the number they have on all the pictures too.
I mean, that's why I'm saying it's not H51B. You said H51B. I'm saying that's probably not right.
I'm saying no. I originally said H52, and then I said that they used to call it H51B, and then they have updated it to H52.
Oh, okay.
Gotta listen to me. Gotta listen. Pay attention.
All right. Oh,
quick hits, everyone.
We also have an update here from Magic Square. They have their Legend Scale. This is an Onslaught prototype. They are calling it. Well, I don't think we have a name for it. So, right now it's just Onslaught, but there are images of it in robot mode. Also have it in the vehicle mode, and there are also pictures of it next to their other Combaticons, and they're going to have this Legend Scale Bruticus coming up, and I mean I think it looks pretty good. So wait until we can get some more official pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next we've got another mini-sized figure, and this is from Dr. Wu. This is an Ultra Magnus figure, codenamed Tactical Commander. And it's got new Magnus armor with an inner white robot, although looks like there's a couple versions, or no, this is a redeco where the legs are blue instead of white on this version. So it blends in a little bit more in truck mode with the car carrier back, but then he's got some blue pants on.
Yeah, the white pants are the E23T.
Ah, okay. So you've got E23 with blue, E23T with white. So you can pick your poison with whichever version you want.
And I have the Optimus version of this, and it's a great little figure.
Cool.
All right, and I'm going to talk about the Legacy Toxitron collection, because that is something that's going to start hitting the shelves very soon. This is the Toxitron collection is a collection of G2 inspired figures, and they are going to be some figures that maybe you want to pick up. So G2 Universe Dead End. So this will be the second G2 Stunticon to hit the market. If you did end up getting drag strip from the previous wave, then you'll be able to start building G2 Menasor. There is a G2 Mirage, and that is those are those unreleased G2 colors that we did see in that Legacy art book, and those are wild colors. Then there's G2 Universe Sideswipe, which again is also some of those color schemes. This is that same color scheme that we saw in that Legacy art book. This is pretty wild color scheme as well, so it's pretty neat. And then lastly, we've got G2 Universe Laser Cycle, and then this is as a Road Rocket redeco, which is inspired by Laser Cycle Jazz. This one's I don't have the knowledge on this one. I don't see it, but it's got to be there, I guess. I don't have the figure to use for that. Yeah.
Are all these colors toxic to our eyes? Is that why it's the Toxitron collection?
I guess. Trying to see here what. So apparently they're also going to be re-releasing the G2 Jazz in this wave. So look for that. Those are the orange color palette for Jazz. That's again, those are some of those unreleased colors of for G2 figures that never came out. All of this stuff, if you're unfamiliar with these color schemes that are unreleased, that all of that stuff's in the very back of this Legacy art book. It's one of those books that I don't buy every single Transformers, Bible or art book or whatever. This is one of those books that has really paid for itself in the long run. It's a great book.
Is that the Jim Sorensen?
Is it? I don't even know who wrote it. I just know it's got some great pictures in it.
That's the one with all the box art, right? From all the previous lines.
Yeah, I don't. It's buried up there, but I love looking through it every now and then. It's got some really cool art. Anyway, so yeah, the G2 figures are going to start hitting the shelves soon.
Yeah, they might have already been announced in that fan stream yesterday.
And something else that I'm pretty confident they talked about this, because they've been pretty much talking about one of these in every one of the fan streams, is the Legacy Evolution Core Class Dinobots. Here's some images of Snarl, and he's the last one. So get some robot mode images, Dino mode, and then the combined Volcanicus. You can see he makes the right foot there. So if you were collecting these, you'll be able to complete them soon. I'm still waiting to see the Studio Series Snarl. That's the size class that I want my Dinobots in. But
I can tell you I've never seen a single one of these figures in store.
So maybe if you're going to TFCon, buy a bunch in the US and bring them up to Canada.
I mean, when I was in the US, I still never saw them in the store.
All right. And our last story is upcoming new leaks for upcoming Legacy figures. So looks like we'll be getting a deluxe Cybertron version of Hot Shot. So, Transformers Cybertron, the third part of the Unicron trilogy. So that's a different. I wonder if that'll just be a redeco of the existing Hot Shot, which was, I think, a redeco of War for Cybertron Hound. So we'll see. Another Rock Lord, I guess. It's just Deluxe Rock 3. We'll see. We're still maybe the Rock Lords were announced in that fan stream yesterday. We'll see. A Deluxe Strong Arm, which we knew was coming because that was in the Space Bridge in the last fan stream. Leader Soundwave, which is interesting. So that is maybe a bigger version, a bigger Soundwave than what we had from the previous War for Cybertron line. A Transformers 4 Steeljaw, which are those drone wolf things from Age of Extinction. So not a Steeljaw you're looking for, not the one from G1 or the one from the Robots in Disguise cartoon from a few years ago. Or I guess Last Bot Standing Steeljaw also figured prominently there. So none of those Steeljaws. This is the Steeljaw from Age of Extinction. So I guess if you're interested in that, that's a core class, so that's a small figure. And then a Studio Series 86 Leader Class Springer, which is also interesting because we did have a War for Cybertron Springer, which I believe was a Voyager. So this might be an upscaled version of that or something completely different, but it will be a very G1ified Springer since it's in the Studio Series 86 line. But all very interesting leaks coming up. I think it's pretty clear these leaks are usually pretty accurate. So this is what you have to look forward to in the next few months for upcoming figures.
That Leader Springer is that's an instant buy for me.
Cool. Yeah, I'm curious if it I thought the Springer from War for Cybertron was pretty well, it was pretty accurate compared to G1, pretty G1ified. Or G1-esque, whatever you want to call it, as could represent a Studio Series figure. So I'm wondering what's going to be different about this one. So definitely has my curiosity. Okay, that's all our quick hits. So let's move on to our main discussion topic.
All right, and the main discussion topic is the Las Vegas Licensing Expo 2023. Hasbro was there, and among the stuff that they talked about, there was some Transformer bits. So they were talking for Rise of the Beast. They've partnered with a bunch of licensing partners. We're going to have some in alt mode, some of the things that they were talking about there. But then the big thing is next year is the 40th anniversary of Transformers as a franchise. And they said that they're going to be providing their licensees with 3D files of the original G1 toys for the first time ever. And the partners will be able to reissue reissue original licensed products and reimagined innovations, leveraging the authentic vintage artwork from the G1 toy line and Marvel Comics. They're also digitally releasing the 80s animated TV soundtrack with an exciting bonus track that taps into nostalgia and recreates the excitement, tone, and pop culture moments of 1984. So, that seems exciting. I'm wondering if the 3D files are going to let the licensees actually make transforming toys or just more realistic to the way the toys actually looked in their non-transforming stuff. What do you guys think about that?
That is my question as well. I think it definitely would be cool if they would allow licensees to release transforming figures. And I'm wondering, how many of the original G1 figures are they scanning and releasing 3D models? Are they releasing?
I would
every wave or whatever.
I mean, think as they're doing these re-releases of the figures, they're probably doing pretty intensive 3D scans of everyone, just because if the molds wear down, now you have the 3D models. You can remake an exact mold, and the technology wasn't there in the 80s that is there now.
Yeah. And they also, I mean, it's not just like, it sounds like they're saying, okay, here's a 3D model. Now you have license to modify it as you see fit to make new products. So that could be interesting. Like, okay, you've got the original like 3D model of a G1 figure and say, hey, well, of course this is a G1 figure, so it's not too accurate to the animation model, but I also don't want to wildly completely rework it, but let's see what I can do to tweak it a little bit to make it evoke the animation or the comics or something else, and what do we come out with? So that could be interesting.
Yeah, I'm just I'd like to see transforming figures from other places. I'd like to be able to go into a McDonald's and have my kid get a Happy Meal and get an actual transforming figure again. The ones that have been coming out for quite some time now have been garbage. They don't need to be this exact same as they were in the 80s, but just allow them to make something that transforms. I have to think that it is the act of transforming the character, because they've released 3D models to vendors before with regards to like the movies and places like Hallmark. Wouldn't they have gotten 3D models of the toys before to make those those keepsake ornaments?
You would have thought they would.
Yeah,
but I mean,
because those are really well done.
It could just be the artist taking an original toy and doing it themselves.
That's very true. Either way, those are some things that come to mind that look really, really good, and they haven't they don't transform. I'm hopeful that we'll see some like 80s Transformers come back. I'd rather it not be oversaturation again. Like something that worries me as a collector of G1 is that I won't be able to tell a reproduction part from an original part. And that's something that I know is so if they release the 3D files and people can kind of, all it takes is somebody to actually steal those 3D files and now they're out there. Right. And so somebody could now make, all the missiles they want for Optimus Prime or Starscream or something like that. Right.
And those have no identifying markings on them.
Nothing. Right. So and 3D printers have gotten way better than they were when we first started this podcast. So yeah, being able to tell the difference is a big thing for me as a G1 collector. So I have no idea what this truly means, but I'd like to think that it will mean some good fun things come to the market. But I think with regards to the soundtrack, I think this is that same soundtrack that we talked about a couple years ago, that was getting remastered by that one gentleman, and then they're obviously throwing in some kind of bonus track that obviously nobody heard before. So
I mean, the bonus track sounds like it's a new thing that's kind of inspired by it.
Sure. Either way, that's that soundtrack that guy worked on for a long time was amazing work.
No, that one was never official, but they did release an official one by the original creators of the music.
Oh, okay.
You're thinking of the TF Cog unofficial restoration.
Yeah. Well, his was better. I mean, his was amazing. He had everything.
Right.
So,
yeah, this is probably going to be like 12 to 14 tracks, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But Charles, we're going to be getting more artwork inspired by the Marvel comics.
Hey,
So,
sign me up for that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if they do a Jeff Senior print, you're just going to be the first in line.
Yep. Yeah, we need Jeff Senior over for TFCon. Get him over for TFCon Toronto sometime. Complete my G1 UK TF artist collection.
It has the last remaining Shelton you want to collect. But I think we're gonna get a lot of really cool stuff next year with the 40th anniversary. I'm looking forward to seeing just all the little weird things that we're going to be getting, because we'll probably not buy hardly any of it, but it'll just be fun to talk about and look at.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait until they restart the Studio Series 86 line. Or actually, it will be the Studio Series 84 line, sorry. And they'll restart
anything
that.
Was on TV.
Yeah, exactly. And
it'll just be the original Masterpiece figures re-released.
And they're doing the games, so eventually we'll get that Commodore game, the really crappy looking Ultra Magnus.
Yeah.
And then we could get the Studio Series comic edition. Buzzworthy Bumblebee Studio Series Marvel G1 comics.
If the Studio Series line loses all meaning the same way Buzzworthy Bumblebee loses all meaning.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. What you guys? If you have any thoughts on the 40th anniversary of Transformers and what Hasbro is doing, and what do you think the implications would be of releasing all those 3D models? Do you think they'll go beyond kind of the 84, 85, 86 figures, and maybe would they release like Headmasters, Target Masters, Power Masters, all those figures, 3D models? How far do you think Hasbro is willing to take this? So
I would love for some company to be able to get the rights to do reproductions of all the weapons and stuff. I mean, I know, Daryl, that it introduces the confusion, but maybe they make them have some kind of identifying mark on the weapon, but just to get the
something easily sanded off, you mean?
Well, I mean, I don't know, but I'm just thinking, for all those easily lost parts, I think it would be something great to be able to easily get.
They put a black light watermark on it, so you shine a black light on it, and it tells you if it's real or
in a part that's like a nook in the thing. It can be something in there that's not easily gotten to.
They put an RFID inside of it, so if you have if you have a reader on your phone, you can tell if it's a reproduction. So.
I just think of all the super duper expensive parts, like Xerax. For Scorponok, the head itself is like $100 to $150 part. For just the head of Scorponok, and you just be able to 3D print the thing at this point, and be like, oh, I'll just 3D print it. Oh, okay, well, it looks pretty good. It's just I just remade the thing. Okay, well, what else you got? Oh, I got all this other stuff. Well, is yours original? Well, mine's original, but mine's I can get a 3D printed one that's like
slowly replace all the parts, and you'll have a Xerac of Theseus.
Yes. It's crazy. The future of Transformers parts, G1 parts, is nuts. So,
all right. Well, that's all our discussion topics. So that's all our toy talk, and we will move on to trips to the store.
The Transmissions Podcast will return after these messages.
And Trips to the Store is powered by our friends at TeePublic. So you can go to our TeePublic store, which is at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. And there you can see all our merchandise. You can get shirts, other mugs, other kind of merchandise with our logos on it. We've got lots of artwork, got our good guy and bad guy symbols, lots of Transmissions logos. Of course, if you don't like any of our merchandise, buy some other TeePublic merchandise. Anything from TeePublic that you want to get, if you use our link, it helps out the show. So just go to transmissionspodcast.com/shop and see what you like. Of course, TeePublic is usually running 35% off sales pretty frequently, so definitely do not play full price at TeePublic. You take advantage of those sales and get what you want.
I gotta tell you a quick story. I was going walking around my neighborhood doing some like yard sailing yesterday morning, and I was wearing my Good Guy Autobot shirt, and a guy just also yard sailing. He's like, "Hey, nice shirt." I'm like, "Thanks." He's like, "Yeah, that's a really cool shirt." I'm like, "Oh, thanks." I said, "It says Good Guy." He's like, "Oh, I know, I see it." I'm like, "Okay, cool." He's like, "Yeah, that's why I said nice shirt. It's very clever." I said, "Well, thanks. I designed it." He's like, "Okay, very cool. That's very cool. How did you know?" And I went into all this stuff, blah blah blah. So anyway, I just wanted to point that out that somebody actually saw it for what it was, and not just, "Hey, nice Autobot shirt." I'm like, "It's not Autobot, but it's an Autobot." Okay.
I have a similar story from a couple weeks ago. They didn't realize it said Good Guy until I pointed it out, and they're like, "Oh, it does." But so yeah, it's doing its job. It's working.
Yep. Every time somebody says nice shirt and I point out it says Good Guy, or I say it says bad guy, they're like, "Holy shit, it does." I'm like, yeah, it does. It's the point.
Good job, Daryl.
That's the best thing Daryl ever did, was design those two logos.
Just come up with the idea.
I did. Yeah. I mean,
I did the hard work making it look good.
I did make the Autobot one. I did design the Autobot one. I just gave it to her to realize, and then yeah.
Shout out to K Girl, who was one of our awesome listeners who did a lot of our artwork. So thank you so much for all the stuff you've done for us.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's talk about the stuff we got this week. I'm gonna go first. First of all, as we record this, it is Father's Day, and I got a new shirt for Father's Day, and this was from my wife and kids. It's Dad with the A. The A is replaced by the Autobot symbol, the real Autobot symbol, not a Good Guy logo. So thank you to my lovely wife and kids for this cool shirt. I really like it. And we talked about this on alt mode last week, but since it's trips to the store, I can still show off my Void Rivals comics. So these are the first issues of the Energon universe by Robert Kirkman and Skybound, featuring Jetfire in a cameo in these two issues. Or it's one issue, two covers of the same issue. So, we're looking forward to what the Energon universe has in store for us with this Void Rivals comic. Is the original story set in the universe with the Transformers and G.I. Joe, but they are completely new aliens and a new storyline. So we'll have to see if they intersect more with the Transformers and the rest of the universe and see where that goes. Okay, next. So Daryl was talking about how he never saw the core class Dinobots in the wild in stores. And just last week, I saw a bunch in my local Target, and I picked some up. So here is Scar, the Ankylosaurus, the new 6th Dinobot, or I guess technically 7th Dinobot, since we had Slash a few years ago as the Raptor Dinobot. So
he's just another classic G1 character that never made it on screen, like Windblade.
But this is he's an Ankylosaurus. His tail is also his gun and the hand for Volcanicus. You can see it's very clearly a fist with a, I guess it's giving you the finger, or is yeah, so it's cool. I was trying to hold out for waiting for the Dino King version of these, but I saw like a bunch in the store, and I kind of was like, okay, I'm just gonna grab them all. So stay tuned for the next couple of weeks of trips to the store. So this is a real quick. I can transform him. He's a very simple transformation. And there he is. Hey, it's Scar. And you can see the face sculpt is apparently based on the IDW version of the character from that was designed by Livio Ramondelli back in the Monstrosity series of it was a first digital only release, but then it was released as a physical books as well. I think it's too blurry, unfortunately. You can't really tell the face sculpt here, but it's Scar, new Dinobot, and
Cool.
yeah, his gun there. Pew 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 pew. I'm giving you the finger. So that's what I got this week. I'll pass it over to Jeremy.
All right. Well, I also have my Void Rival comics. We showed off on alt mode, but that's not trip to the store. So looking forward to getting one of the second printing covers that we're going to talk about in alt mode. One of them just looks absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to be picking up yet another copy of that. And then for my Father's Day present, I got a couple things. One was the Origins Jazz, which is absolutely fantastic. I love the colors on it, and it looks great. So that's fun. And then today I also picked up the Studio Series 86 sweep.
Oh, nice.
Looks good. And then the last thing I have is we can't have a Megatron that turns into a gun. Apparently we can have an Autobot or an Optimus Prime that turns into a gun. So I've got the Nerf Optimus Prime blaster, which is a single shot Nerf. It comes with a holder on the side. It has a little scope, or not really a scope, a little viewing thing in there. And then it will, probably not going to transform it all the way here, but it does transform into an Optimus Prime that is, whoops, took off a window. I've been having problems with a lot of the hinges on figures just popping off. Too rough with them. I can't get his head out. His head is in here. My fingers are too big for this children's toy.
You're right, Jeremy. Why don't they have a Megatron version of this?
I know. I mean, I would think if they go with this style, we might eventually get a Megatron. There we go. I haven't extended his hands, but there's an Optimus Prime there and very big backpack. But, it's fun. I noticed that, let's see, let me get this back to kind of gun mode. I noticed that like you pull this thing down to kind of cock the Nerf gun, but my hand is so big. When I pull the trigger, he's not transformed enough to pull the trigger. When I pull the trigger, my hand will stop it. So I have to hold it like that because, again, adult hands for a children's toy. My kid was able to do it just fine. But I just thought that was funny that, got the Nerf gun. So
you left the safety on.
Yeah, I'm sure that in future Nerf battles with my kid, I'm going to have to use this instead of one of the better Nerf guns that he has. One other thing about Jazz is he also has a really big backpack, which is, is sad, but you're going to be looking at him like that anyway. So that's all I got.
Okay, and Daryl back to reclaim his position in the anchor.
Whoop. All right. Well, I'm going to start off today with a little story. I took, because it's Father's Day, I took my son out and just went around the city because my wife was going to do some yard work and whatnot, and I just wanted to get him out of her hair. So we went out shopping, and we ended off at a toy store, like you do, and
not by any intention. You just
no, he just came across it. And we're walking around, and he comes across, and I missed it. He comes across a little bucket underneath the table because it's at his level, and he starts rooting through it, and he comes out, and he runs over, and he's like, "Daddy, truck!" He pulled out a G1 Optimus Prime truck. Now it's broken. It's missing an arm, which I can fix. So I asked the guy, I said, how much for the figures in the little box? He's like, well, usually about $5 a piece, but since your son wants it, I'll give it to you for $2. I'm like, done. I'll take it. So he's super happy to get this. And then before we left, he ran back to the thing and he's unprovoked. He pulls out a trailer. I'm like, this kid has been trained very well. So anyway, the trailer's beat to hell. But it's why it was in this thing. And then the guys at the counter were like, doesn't that trailer go with that Optimus Prime? I'm like, yeah, it does. It's like, okay. So,
he's definitely your kid.
Yeah. So my son, without prompting from me, pulled out a G1 Optimus Prime to play with today. Anyway,
a Daryl complete G1 Optimus Prime.
Daryl complete.
And you'll be able to tell him his first Transformer he picked out was G1 Optimus.
That's right. Now my goal is to get an arm for this Optimus Prime, but I think I can manage that. Yeah. So I'm actually very proud of him.
Yeah. He's gonna be dangerous if you let him wander through TFCon in the dealer room.
Yeah. People just hand him stuff. So the things that I held off on last week were 2 items that I pre-ordered, and they actually, one was already available and the other one I pre-ordered, and they actually came in a week apart. They one arrived the day or 2 days before I left for Pennsylvania. The next one arrived while I was away. So the first one that I got was Magic Square Swindle. Nice. We were just talking about this in the toy news because they've released the prototype images of their Onslaught. So I'm really into these Magic Square combiners at this point. So Magic Square Swindle, these things are like, it's masterpiece level. I'm just going to grab the other one here because the other one that came in while I was away was the Magic Square Brawl. So I've got the first 2. I'm waiting on the rest. Like I said, these are like masterpiece scale transformations. They're incredibly intricate and really quite involved. You look at them and you're like, okay, well, it doesn't really look that intense, but the leg on Swindle is like 15 movements to get it to transform. And it's quite ridiculous. I'm really impressed with what they've been able to do with this size class, especially Magic Square. Simply because, I haven't seen what they're doing with the Onslaught, but I'm hoping that they don't do the faux torso thing, because they didn't do that with Devastator. That seems to be more of a new age thing. But if they do, they do. I'm pot committed at this point. But yeah, it's very cool. I'm in, and I'm really liking the look of these guys. They're very animation accurate with their coloring. It's a very flat kind of matte finish on the figures. I'll get some Toy Hacks labels out to put some Decepticon stickers on them, and they'll be done. I've transformed both of them because they arrive in their robot mode. I transform them to their alt modes and then back for tonight's recording. So look for on my Twitter. Have you heard of Twitter? It's kind of a shit show right now, but have you heard of Twitter? It's look for my social media. I'll post pictures of them in alt mode as well. I'm taking some. I have an Instagram that seems to be something that's still working and is not an absolute dumpster fire. But
it's owned by Facebook, so
it's only a matter of time.
That's true. And Mastodon and the other one have not really taken off the way that we hoped they would. But But either way, I really like those two figures. I can't wait for the rest of them. Onslaught looks like he's coming along nicely. And I was kind of shocked that they did Onslaught as the third one. I figured they would do all the limbs first, and then you'd have to wait for the torso. But I'm kind of glad I can, halfway build, my Bruticus. And I'm really looking forward to how the Bruticus is going to look. The prototype looks amazing.
All right. So that's all our toys from trips to the store. So let's move on.
We now return to the Transmissions Podcast.
So that's all for trips to the store, and that takes us to the end of this episode of Transmissions. As always, at the end of every episode, we give a shout out to our Masterpiece Donatrons. These are the folks who continue to support the podcast at our highest level on Patreon, and we really appreciate that. So that's why they get a mention in every episode. So thank you once again to John 4x11 Good and Demon Tech 82. You guys rock, and we really appreciate you.
Watched our stream on Monday night that they were both on it.
Yes. And that should still be up, so everyone can take a look and watch it if you are curious. Hopefully we'll get a chance to do more of these in the future. So thanks everyone for watching and listening, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Later.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Transmissions. If you'd like to join the conversation, travel to our Discord channel at transmissionspodcast.com/Discord. Want some cool transmission swag? Feast your eyes on our transmissions gear at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. If you'd like to support our podcast, go to transmissionspodcast.com/support or tell your friends about our show. We'll see you next time.